In the middle of a packed stadium, when the spotlights came down and the camera panned to a couple embracing, the world laughed. But among the millions watching the moment, there was one person who didn't laugh. And from that moment on, her name began to be searched all over social media. Megan Kerrigan, Andy Byron's wife. At the moment when Chris Martin joked that the couple must be having an affair or just shy, the whole stadium erupted in laughter. But no one expected that behind that laughter was an earthquake. A family was starting to shake. A woman was on the brink of betrayal. Megan Kerrigan is 50 years old. She is not a crowd person, not used to flashbulbs or prying articles. She is a teacher, a dedicated teacher. At the Bancroft School in Massachusetts, she serves as the Associate Director of Admissions for the Hope-Graham program, which supports children with special learning needs. A job without fame, without headlines, but full of value. People know Megan as a mother, a wife, an exemplary teacher. No noise, no boasting. Throughout the career of her husband, Andy Byron, the famous technology CEO of Astronomer, Megan has always been in the background. She appeared gently in a few family photos, quietly cheered on her husband's talks, and chose to keep her distance from social media. Until that fateful Coldplay performance. When the video from the concert started to spread, many people had never even heard of Andy Byron. But within a few hours, the name Megan Kerrigan became the highlight of the whole story. Why? Because she said nothing. No long status, no revealing posts. Just one single action. She removed the surname Byron from her name on all social media accounts. A simple action. But for women who have been married for decades, it was a decisive move. A wordless declaration. A silent verdict. They say there are loud angers, but there are also quiet pains that are deeper than any scream. Megan Kerrigan chose to stay silent, but that silence was thunderous. On Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, a series of posts called her name. Not out of pity, but out of admiration. Someone wrote, "She didn't need to say anything. Her removal of the Byron name was more powerful than a press conference." In a world where people are quick to tell, explain, cry, Megan chose to step back. Maybe because she understood, not everything you say will be heard, and silence is not weakness. Maybe she taught her students how to face emotions without getting caught up in them, and today she did it herself. But what was behind that action? Was it the end of a marriage? Was it the awakening of a woman who had stood behind her husband's halo? No one knows for sure. But people started talking about her as a role model. Betrayed wives, women who chose to sacrifice, looked at Megan and saw themselves. She didn't write a long article denouncing her husband. She didn't curse the other woman. She just changed her name. And that, like a declaration, "I am no longer the person with your name." Some said maybe Megan would forgive. Some believed she would leave. But one thing was certain. Since that Coldplay concert, Megan Kerrigan was no longer the wife who stood silently behind a CEO. She became the protagonist, a woman who was betrayed but didn't break down, a wife who chose to keep her dignity instead of flaunting her vulnerability. And while Andy Byron deleted LinkedIn and Kristen Cabot quietly disappeared, Megan just changed her name, and the world listened.